Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, December 27th. Another late week rain event coming to the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. We've had many late week rain events, many weekends that have been wet as well in the Mid-Atlantic region going back the last several months. It looks like a storm system will slide to the west of the I-95 corridor region. We'll be on the warm side once again, and rain should arrive later tonight, continue through much of the day on Friday, and then wind down Friday night. Gradually turns colder over the upcoming weekend and remains an active pattern. It looks like another storm will probably stay just to the south on Sunday, and then yet another low pressure area should impact the region in the Mid-Atlantic region on later Monday into early Tuesday. Most likely that'll be in the form of rain, maybe a little bit of frozen precipitation to worry about in some parts of the Mid-Atlantic region at the onset. But again, that storm system looks like it'll slide up to the west of here, then turns colder following that by the middle of next week. Well, before we take a look closely at the next couple of days, let's take a look at the next couple of weeks in terms of the temperature pattern. This is the 06Z ensemble run of the GFS, the 850 millibar temperature anomalies for the current 5-day period that we are in. Warmer than normal throughout the eastern half of the nation on average for the next 5 days. And a lot of this will come on Friday, as temperatures could jump to 60 degrees in D.C., the upper 50s in New York City and Philadelphia, as again, this next low pressure area rides up to the west. We'll see now, though, that over the first week or so of January, the trend is definitely colder. Let's now jump to days 6 to 10. And here we go. This is really from around January 1st to January 6th or so. Again, from last night's GFS model run. That warmer than normal condition in the eastern half of the nation replaced by colder than normal. Not too far below normal here in the I-95 corridor region, but nonetheless pretty significant change from the current 5-day period. Now let's jump out to the next 5-day period. This is days 11 to 15 from January 6th to January 11th, and here the colder than normal is actually centered over the eastern U.S. So again, in general, over the next couple of weeks, the trend is colder and colder for temperatures in the Mid-Atlantic region and throughout much of the eastern U.S. Well, let's get back to the short-term analysis, and here is the current surface analysis. Kind of a familiar pattern. We've had this in several of the recent storms where strong cold high pressure sits to the north but then slides off the northeastern coastline. That allows a moist and a warmer flow of air first to head into the Tennessee Valley, and then it'll head up the eastern seaboard on Friday. And again, temperatures tomorrow should peak out in the upper 50s, maybe even touch 60 degrees in some parts of the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. And with that advance of moisture from the south to the north, rain should break out probably by after midnight in D.C. and during the wee hours of the morning in Philadelphia and New York City. Could be heavy at times late tonight and during Friday morning. We'll see that on the latest GFS model run. It's depicting some heavy rain possibilities late tonight and during the morning. Then it winds down during the afternoon and comes to a halt tomorrow night as some colder air moves in for Saturday. But again, pretty good setup here for warmer, more moist air to flow northward from the Gulf of Mexico into the eastern U.S. by Thursday night and certainly on the day Friday. Well, let's take a look at the 0Z GFS model run. High pressure, cold high pressure sitting over the southeastern part of Canada. Very frosty morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Temperatures way down in the 20s in some of the Philadelphia suburbs. Frosty conditions all the way down to D.C. And again, look at the isobar pattern here out across the Midwest. That is bringing a flow of air from the south to the north. Warmer, more humid conditions. Strong low pressure area will dump several inches of snow across the central plains to the northern plains. This is a major snowstorm in the making here for the central plains all the way up to the northern plains, the upper part of the Midwest. But again, this low pressure area will stay to the west of the I-95 corridor region. In other words, we'll be on the warm side. Let's push ahead in 6-hour increments. Clouds should tend to be more visible this afternoon, thicken up early this evening, and then rain should break out in the overnight hours in D.C., Philadelphia, and by tomorrow morning in New York City. And here we go. The GFS has been pretty persistent with this band of rather heavy-looking rain here, really extending from D.C. across Philadelphia, maybe just to the south of New York City late tonight and tomorrow morning. So if there's going to be heavy rain with this system, again, it'll be towards daybreak and during the AM hours on Friday. And of course, grounds are still very well saturated, so any kind of heavy rainfall could produce some localized flooding issues. Let's move forward here. The rain kicks on out of here tomorrow evening, and then a colder northwesterly flow of air will develop Saturday. Basically a dry day, windy, cold. Turns even colder by Sunday, and here we go by Sunday morning. And this low pressure area is going to it looks like it'll stay just to the south of the I-95 corridor region. Still close enough to watch, because it could be cold enough that any precipitation here on Sunday could be in the form of snow. But again, right now it looks like that system stays just to the south of the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. And then we get into the first part of next week. Monday is New Year's Eve. Yet another good storm system will start to form, and it looks like it'll slide to the west. Once again, we'll be on the warm side here in the eastern U.S., although not out of the question that if precipitation arrives early enough on Monday, there could be some frozen precipitation involved. But again, this looks like primarily a rain event from probably the PM hours, the afternoon hours on Monday, New Year's Eve, into early Tuesday, which is New Year's Day. And here we go, that storm up to the west of the I-95 corridor region, producing some rain New Year's Eve into very early New Year's Day, probably becoming partly sunny on Tuesday, New Year's Day, before a cold air mass arrives from the north and west by the middle part of next week. So still an active pattern. We'll warm up once again with this next low pressure area, so it'll be a rain event from later tonight through much of the day on Friday. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Orion.